Part 1 opened the furnace and exposed identity under pressure. But exposure is only the first chamber. Formation deepens when identity collides with resistance. Now the heat rises, the confrontation sharpens, and truth begins to shake everything built on fear. This is part 2 of the discipleship furnace. We now enter the chamber where identity confronts fear and systems collapse under the weight of truth. Thank you for joining me on By What Authority. We're stepping deeper into the furnace, chamber by chamber, revelation by revelation. I'm your host, Raymond Ibarra, and let's continue. And we're picking up on verse 6. When therefore he said unto them, I am he, they went backward and fell to the ground. This is where identity becomes force. What this teaches the believer today, the presence of Jesus destabilizes systems built on fear, pride, or false authority. And the next principle rises with weight. Discipleship principle number 16. True identity carries weight that forces false systems to fall. Jesus didn't shout, he revealed himself. Principle for believers today, stop trying to prove who you are. Stand in who God says you are. And the collapse continues. Discipleship principle number 17. Darkness cannot stand upright in the presence of truth. They fell backward. Principle for the believers today, don't fear confrontation with darkness. Truth is not fragile. Lies are. And the verse still has more. Discipleship principle number 18. The authority of Jesus is not reactive, it is inherent. He didn't respond to their weapons, he responded from identity. Principle for believers today, authority flows from alignment, not effort. Verse 7. Again, therefore, he asked them, whom seek ye? Jesus forces clarity. What this teaches the believer today, Jesus will not let confusion define the moment. And the next principle rises. Discipleship principle number 19. Jesus confronts confusion with clarity. He asks again. Principle for believers today, let Jesus confront your motives. Clarity is mercy, and then repetition speaks. Discipleship principle number 20. God will make you repeat what you came for until you understand what you're touching. They had to say his name again. Principle for believers today, pay attention to repetition. It reveals truth. Verse 8. If therefore ye seek me, let these go their way. This is leadership under pressure. What this teaches the believer today, Jesus protects his disciples even in the moments of exposure. And the next principle rises. Discipleship principle number 21. Jesus steps into pressure to shield those still being formed. Let these go. Principle for believers today, if Jesus steps in front of you, it's because he's still forming you. And then leadership reveals itself. Discipleship principle number 22. Leadership absorbs pressure so disciples can grow. He knows their capacity. Principle for believers today, don't resent the pressure Jesus shields you from. Verse 9. Of those whom thou hast given me, I lost not one. This is sovereignty in the furnace. What this teaches the believer today, God's sovereignty is protective, not passive. And the next principle rises. Discipleship principle number 23. Pressure does not cancel God's promises. It fulfills them. This moment was fulfillment. Principle for believers today, stop interpreting pressure as chaos. It's often fulfillment. And then faithfulness speaks. Discipleship principle number 24. Jesus protects what the Father entrusted to him. I lost not one. Principle for believers today, you are held by his grip, not yours. Verse 10. Simon Peter, therefore, having a sword, drew it. This is where fear disguised itself as boldness. What this teaches the believer today, zeal without alignment becomes violence. And the next principle rises. Discipleship principle number 25. Zeal without alignment becomes destruction. Peter wasn't rebelling, he was misaligned. Principle for believers today: don't confuse passion with obedience. And then fear reveals itself. Discipleship principle number 26. Fear disguises itself as boldness when identity is unstable. Fear swings swords, identity stands firm. Principle for believers today: ask yourself, is this identity or insecurity? And the verse still has one more layer. Discipleship principle number 27. You can fight for Jesus and still oppose his will. Peter fought the wrong enemy in the wrong moment with the wrong weapon for the wrong reason. Principle for believers today: alignment matters more than intensity. This concludes part 2 of the discipleship furnace. In the next chamber, we move into the cup, where Jesus corrects zeal, aligns purpose, and exposes the cost of obedience. What you just walked through in this chamber isn't theory, it's exposure. John 18 is not giving us concepts, it's revealing conditions. And every principle in this section shows us something God refuses to let stay hidden. This isn't commentary, this is confrontation. And if something in you tightened, surfaced, or resisted while listening, that's not condemnation, that's formation, beginning to take shape. The furnace doesn't just reveal identity, it reveals misalignment, misplaced zeal, and the places where fear still tries to lead. As we move into the next chamber, don't shake off what was exposed here. Carry it with you. Revelation becomes transformation only when you refuse to leave it at the door.